So there are three different elements that really matters if you want to change your life when it comes to breathing, of course. That is operation, that is how you do the breathing, that is power, and that is size, because size actually also matters. All right, let's go to the operation part. So I think you all know this in this community. You can breathe high costal up here. And that is also when you talk like this, and you're completely disconnected from your body. The right way is obviously to go deep. Use the diaphragm to go all the way down and up again. That is basics. But I got a lot of questions about, what about nasal breathing? And nasal breathing is also very, very important. And there's a lot of good reasons for that. The physical parts is nitric oxide, humidification of the air, filtering, and things like that. But that's basic for all of you guys. But the other part about breathing right is actually something that, I don't know if you know this guy, he is pretty old. That's about the mental state. And there's a lot of interesting things you can acquire by breathing right. And maybe we should go directly to how this was discovered in, you can say, the modern time. And because we know there's a lot of benefits, the mental benefits, I have listed them here, you can read them yourself. But how can you actually get access to this? And Robert Redford and his friends in the 70s, when actors were not just, all right, we'll train 3 months at the Stanislavski method, and then we go to stage, and then we slowly get into the role. That was completely demolished by TV series. Because, all right, here's the script, we film tomorrow. That's not how I was taught in school. No, but that's what you do now. Then they actually discovered there's a closely connection between your breathing pattern and your feelings. So if you are distressed, you're completely off, then you have one breathing pattern. But if you're relaxed and you're in good state and in harmony, you have another breathing pattern. So what these guys discovered was that you can actually turn this to a two-way street. So instead of being a victim of your feelings, you can actually do the breathing pattern to the sensation or feeling you want, and in that way, induce that feeling into your body. And that is actually the kind of magic these guys discovered 50 years ago, but you should do as well, because it's a very, very powerful method of improving your life. It doesn't take away the pain that caused whatever you have, but it gives you freedom to actually act and be the best version of yourself. All right, that was operation. Now we go to power. And before we go to power, I need to show you a very special thing, and that is the AirFit. AirFit is a breathing training system consisting of a device with different resistance in and out, connected with sensors, connected to a smartphone app, where you can actually measure your vital capacity, your inspiratory and expiratory strength, but you can also train it, and you can train the right breathing patterns. So we have a lot of different breathing patterns available, 17 different actually. But I would like to show you how a training would be. I cannot speak at the same time, sorry about that. So you need to follow this curve. And this is how you do it. I didn't do it perfectly well here. I can see that. But this is how you actually train your system. You start by measuring it, and then you can do the appropriate training that is designed especially for you. I put this away for a second. So we can see for the people that are actually doing this kind of training, they can actually improve their inspiratory and expiratory strength, which is the power of the breathing muscles. It's primary diaphragm. And this is interesting because we made a study at the Metropolitan University of Manchester where they used ultrawave to actually measure the thickness of the muscles and also the range of motion. And it was not surprisingly for us that actually when you train muscles, they become thicker. But I can tell you that I've been talking to a lot of high-end professors say, oh, respiratory system, these muscles, they work every day, every second, every hour, your whole life, they cannot be trained. I say, oh, but it's muscles, so when we train the muscles, usually, no. That's different with the breathing muscles. These guys actually showed, all right, it was not different. It is actually the same. So in 6 weeks, they could actually increase the thickness of diaphragm, which is the most important breathing muscle, 30%. The abdominal muscles, 25%. But even more interesting, and that is from a physical but also from a mental perspective, the range of motion of diaphragm in average increased 18%, and that is massive. If you know the physical health is so closely connected to the breathing, but as we talked about, the mental health is also. If any of you have ever had, and I know you all have, issues where you're feeling stressed or feeling anxious or anything, it is centered in your solar plexus. And what is right behind solar plexus? Yes, that is diaphragm. And if you can actually get that muscle to move, then you have a beginning of actually release some of that tension. Right. Okay. Then we go to the part about size. And that is size of the lungs, so to speak. So we have the largest database in the world of breathing. And if you look at this, you can see this is liters up and this is age. And when our users come into our database, they make a measurement of the vital capacity. And you can see that they peak between age of 18 to 30. And I know there are some of you that are in that range, but unfortunately myself and a couple of others are beyond that. And after the age of 30, it just goes down. And that's because the muscle are getting weaker and the tissue is getting stiffer. And that, of course, have a lot of negative impacts. So that was the bad news. The good news is that these guys, if they actually do the training for 5 minutes a day for 4 weeks, they can actually push the curve up 30%, meaning they can get a 30% larger accessible vital capacity, meaning that you guys can get 20 years younger lungs in only 4 weeks. If you do the training, not just get the device and put it under the pillow, but actually do the training 5 minutes a day, then you can push the curve up 30%. And this is something no one else has been showing before. And we have almost 2,000 users that have been doing this, and we can show you that data. And why is that important? Yeah, that is because obviously important because there's a lot of studies. I have 2 of the studies here, very large studies. With the first one with 5,000 people, the second one with more than 1,000 studies participants, showing that there's a close correlation between your lung function, and your expected lifespan. So, all right, we are here for a reason. We want to have better lives, but we also want to have longer lives. And this is the best shortcut to get a longer and better life. So breathe right. That will give you better mental, but also physical wellness. Get stronger breathing muscles. That will give you more performance, but performance in a broad sense. So climbing the stairs, playing with your grandkids, having fun every day. And then there's the vital capacity, the size, actually prolonging the good life for yourself and your family as well.